I'm Emily Hargrove and welcome to Prime. We have got a really fun show coming up today. Firstly, we will be talking all things barbecue with Daniel Vaughn and Nicholas McWhirter, and then we will be talking about the Highland Park Centennial Celebration, followed by Mother of the Bride looks with Paulette Martsolf and Ali Koosh. But firstly, let us talk about barbecue. We are here with Daniel Vaughn, Professor Barbecue Snob and blogger, and photographer Nicholas McWhirter to talk about their fantastic new book, The Profits of Smoked Meat. Gentlemen, hello, welcome.
Thank you
both for being here and to talk to us about this amazing book that you have just launched, literally last month.
Yeah, just last month. May 15th was the birth date of it.
And there's a lot of love, miles, gas, barbecue, everything that has gone into this book.
Yeah, we traveled all over the state. The two of us together, we traveled all 10,000 miles together. So almost 200 barbecue joints, 10,000 miles from one end of the state all the way in Orange, Texas on the East Coast to over in El Paso, all the way up from down from Brownsville all the way up to Dalhart in the Panhandle.
Well, that's amazing. 10,000 miles. I mean, not only did you sample all of the barbecue along the way, but you also really got the state of Texas in your blood, and you can probably write a travel book about it too.
Well, he could certainly put a photography book together of all the photos that didn't make it into the book. But yeah, it's a love story to Texas barbecue and to Texas as well. We traveled all over the state, and neither of us had seen that much of the state, and certainly hadn't seen that much of the state in a 6-month period. So we got a really good picture of Texas, and so the book includes, of course, all the barbecue we ate, whether it was good or bad, and also includes a lot of background, a lot of Texas culture and history as well.
Well, and so what started it for the two of you? I mean, you were writing a blog, and then how did the two of you get together, and how did this all come about?
Well, you can tell it from your perspective as far as
sure
how this whole idea was hatched.
We both worked at the same architecture office. We're both architects. And I was sitting at my desk, and Daniel came down and said, "You want to go on a road trip?" And of course, I was interested because I love road trips.
Yeah.
And he said, "We're going up to Dalhart, Texas." And I thought, what in the world would we be doing in Dalhart, Texas? And he said, "Well, it's home of the world's largest free barbecue." And I thought, okay, this sounds like it's going to be...
As in free, $0 free?
$0.
Oh.
Yeah, you line up, they cook 9,000 pounds of beef in the ground. They bring it all out in the afternoon. Everybody lines up and everybody gets a plate.
Wow, and is that a good business model for them?
Oh, well, it's the XIT Rodeo in Reunion. So it's a big
I see,
celebration, and then most of the attendees there are also going to pay money to get into the rodeo.
You see, that
so
to me
there's
sounds
a rodeo
like an
portion.
absolute dream. Rodeo and barbecue, fantastic. So he came down and said about the road trip, and then you were like, okay, we'll go together.
Yes, so we spent a weekend in the car driving to the Panhandle, and it was a great trip. How many barbecue places did we?
We only hit 6 barbecue places on that trip, and then plus the 7th being the XIT Rodeo and Reunion up there. But that was the trip we took to write the book proposal.
Right.
So we didn't have a book deal, and as I told Nick, you're going to get paid as much as I am for this, which is nothing. So we'll put this proposal together. We'll put it out there, and we'll see what happens. And it ended up getting picked up pretty quickly by Anthony Bourdain's group with Echo. So we were very fortunate.
I mean, can you believe at the start of all of this, that you're writing about something that you love and you're passionate about, and then Anthony Bourdain comes along and says, you know what, I really love this. And then now you have this book, and you've got amazing photographs and an experience that nobody, would be able to repeat, and you have it.
Yeah, it was some amazing timing. Luckily, we had taken that trip. We had gotten the great photos from Nick. He basically put the proposal together. I did the writing, he did the photos, and then he's the one that made it look great.
We tried to make it look like a book. We kind of laid it out just like with the photos and the text together, and designed it to make it really feel like this was a book that you would want to look at.
So It was great timing to have that done at the same time that Anthony Bourdain had announced that he wanted to do this line of books, and it all just came together. You know, we were incredibly fortunate for all the timing to work out the way it did.
So are you and, you know, Anthony just chewing the cud about barbecue on a weekly basis? I mean, do you just like, you know, really, Tony, you need this cut?
Yeah.
And do you have a little argument with him about it?
Oh, we have some discussions now and again. At the very beginning of the book tour, he was with me on a few of the stops, so we got to do a little back and forth Q&A session at bookstores and at some of the events leading off the book tour. So that was fun.
Very fun. And of course, now you are the barbecue editor for Texas Monthly.
Yeah, I somehow turned barbecue into a full-time paying job.
Which is it? So you are still an architect, and
Yes.
you have left architecture
He left
behind.
me in my cubicle.
Yes. Well, like Nick said, we worked together, and about, I guess it was 3 months ago now, put in my resignation.
Oh, wow.
And
Do you have a photo of him in your cubicle and you weep? Oh, I miss you.
It was a rough week, that first week.
Oh, bless you. Well,
But
look,
I actually really do like my job, so it's great. I'm real happy for him.
good. Well, which is fantastic. And you are not only have you been writing about this, but you also turned a scientist about barbecue. I've been talking to you before. You were, you know, really going into the detail about, you know, about the fats and salts and, you know, and what really makes it work. And so, you know, tell me a little bit about that, because you've brought some rubs with you today. So
yeah, well, you know, there are some out there who feel like the only way to learn how to barbecue is just trial and error. But I think you can get yourself a head start by doing a little research. You know, there's a lot written about the science of barbecue. That might be surprising to some people, but there is a lot written about it. So if you do some studying, then you can understand a lot of how those processes happen, the transformation of a brisket, you know, how that fat and collagen breaks down, why it's important to use low temperatures to cook it, why it's important to leave fat on.
Right.
You know, I always preach, just leave the fat on a brisket. You know, we've got that nice line of fat there on the brisket, and that holds and carries a lot of flavor. There's a lot of flavors out there that are fat-soluble flavors and a lot that are water-soluble. The meat is going to hold all those water-soluble ones like salt. But things like black pepper and the flavors that you get from smoke, those are best held in fat. Those are fat-soluble flavors. So cutting away the fat, you're really cutting away a lot of the potential flavor.
So when you go into a barbecue joint and you see that the cut has been, you know, the fat has been taken away, do you literally bristle?
Well, the worst is witnessing it. You see a beautiful brisket being unfurled and flopped down onto the cutting board. They might take the back of a knife and just slide the fat right off, and it's just
And throw it in the garbage.
You know,
It's really sad.
yeah. Sometimes I'll yell right away, like, no, stop right there. Like, give me some of that first.
Nah!
I know, it's really a terrible thing to witness.
So what have we got right here? Because obviously I'm British, so
Yeah.
flavoring and rubs mean nothing to me.
All right, well, we've got a couple of different rubs here, and I just wanted to point out a few things about them. So this one's not quite as pretty, you know, it's gray. Because it's really just a mix of half and half salt and pepper.
Right.
This is really what I prefer to use as a rub, especially on beef, so brisket and short ribs. This is really all you need. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Right.
Now, commercially, you're going to find a rub like this a lot more often. That's basically because in a package, red looks better, right? It looks more like a barbecue rub. But if you look at the ingredient list and you're dealing with all powders like paprika or garlic powder or onion powder, those are all herbs and spices that aren't ever going to make it down into the meat. They're never going to dissolve, and if you've got too much of them, they're really just going to leave a powdery layer on top that isn't going to be that great on the palate. So I mean, for me, it's just take some simple kosher salt.
Yep.
And black peppercorns, fresh cracked black peppercorns. The flavor right after you crack those peppercorns is so much better than getting the stuff that's already pre-cracked in the package.
Right.
So that's really as simple as you need to get for a good barbecue rub. Certainly you can build on it from there, but you know, the basic salt and pepper can take you a long way.
Well, I'm going to go home this weekend and rub that brisket, and my husband, I'm going to show him, he's Texan, and I'll be saying, you just watch me, I'll become a native. Well, gentlemen, thank you both so much for being here, and congratulations. It is truly a work of art. So let me just show everybody again. The Prophet of Smoked Meat, and the pictures are fantastic. You have a real talent, Nick.
Thank you.
And likewise to you and your writing. Congratulations to you both, and we look forward to seeing your adventure continue. So follow Daniel on tmbbq.com.
That's right.
And then go out and buy this book. All right, we will be right back with Piers Allman from the Highland Park Centennial Celebration. Stay with us.